Welcome to Extra Bases Live Edition. Extra Bases with Bristol and Booth. Jason Bristol, former Major League Scout Jeremy Booth, our KHOU 11 baseball analyst. We are here breaking down what's ahead for the Astros, what we saw tonight, and whatever questions you have. We are right now locked on Facebook. If you have any questions, come on over. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what you want to know about these Astros as we are getting down to the nitty-gritty. The lead in the American League West is a half game at this very moment, given the Astros have just beaten the Boston Red Sox. Jeremy, the loss of Josh Hader, all of the injuries, this is a seesaw battle in the American League West. What do you see happening in the next week to 10 days?
Well, the good news is that the Astros are finding ways to come together. They have a bad stretch of baseball in them every year. Every team does. And we talked about at length when that was going to show up, right? You know, if you look back on up to tonight, they've pretty much been in first place the whole way. They have had
2 months, June.
Yeah, that's most of the season, as far as the meat of the time, right?
When it really counts.
They've got
the dog days.
Exactly. They've got Yordan Alvarez, who's had a story of a year. You've got the injury history and a bunch of 4A guys that have come up from AAA and Sugar Land and helped this club. You've got some guys making their debuts, and you got Joe Espada, who did a job a year ago. We talked about with Alex Bregman and not in the 2 spot, who's now taken a cast of characters, if you will, and gotten the best out of them to keep them where they are. Now you have club that did some A-plus stuff at the deadline. You've had Carlos Correa, you've added Urias, you've added Sanchez, and you've got some things that you needed. You needed outfield production. You needed some stability when Isaac Paredes went down to play third base, and you got some depth with Urias and all that, and that would have been good enough. To have the pitching start to come back is encouraging. However, you still got to go play baseball and win games. And, and nights like tonight, when you're facing Walker Buehler and the Boston Red Sox, and you have a playoff team in town who just handed it to you, by the way, in their house last week, it becomes an interesting series turner. You enter the night tied, and you're now half game up, but it sets the tone for a dogfight.
Seattle strikes me as a team that is playing, I don't want to say above water or above its head, because this is a team that obviously and arguably has some of the best pitching in the American League.
Sure.
They're hitting, their new acquisition notwithstanding.
Yeah.
But I don't see any fear from the Mariners. In fact, some of the additions they've made, namely Josh Naylor, I'm getting the sense that Seattle is looking forward to seeing the Astros on the opposite side of the field to go head-to-head, because I think they believe right now the Astros are ripe for the taking.
Yeah, Seattle's a city that I know a little bit, and I can say
Jeremy used to be a scout for
a Mariner. I can say with certainty that city is hungry. That city has been waiting for it for decades, since inception, to be honest with you. They've had some excellent regular season teams and just never performed in the postseason. This club they have there has the pitching, which you talked about. They've got a historic season, really, in Cal Raleigh and what he's doing behind the plate. And they've added some bats. They brought somebody, Eugenio Suarez, back home. They've added Josh Naylor, somebody that I've scouted since he was in high school. They're absolutely loose and free, and they don't care. They're one of those situations where no moment's going to be too big for them. Because they don't feel it. They're just going to go out and get it done. And they do have some playoff experience, some of the guys on the roster. Randy Rosarena, I believe, is still in Seattle. You've got Josh Naylor, who we talked about a second ago. So they've got some guys that have been there, done that, at least tasted the postseason. And they want to get back. Rosarena was left at the altar with the Rays in 1 year, beaten by the Dodgers. And I promise you, they have that taste in their mouth to do it. The Astros, however, frankly, as good as I think they are, and I know we've discussed it, are right for the taking. They absolutely are. They are trying to figure out their identity with the new players, and they're trying to figure out when the health is going to come back. You talked about Josh Hader, and I took a circuitous, a long way around it. We took the long route to get to this answer. You got Luis Garcia potentially coming back. You got Javier that's arrived, and when the health shows up, Arrighetti's just got here. You want to shorten that up a little bit in the bullpen. While Hader's a major concern, it may not be as big a concern as you think, provided the medical staff is telling the truth, especially with a team like Seattle Mariners hunting them.
Well, here's the thing. When you have a guy like Hader go down, the Astros have another weapon in the bullpen. Now, granted, pitching in the 7th and 8th innings can be different for a guy pitching in the 9th inning. But listen, if I have Brian Abreu on my staff, I am perfectly fine having him pitch the 9th inning, blowing 101, 100.5, 100 miles an hour. And the only issue then is bridging the gap to get to him, because now you would have Abreu getting to Hader, and now you have Bennett Sousa, Brian King, Okert, Ort, and these guys for the most part have been really, really good. But by taking the arm of Josh Hader out of the mix, you obviously shorten your bullpen a little bit. But I'm okay with Brian Abreu closing out games in the 9th. He has the stuff. I think he has the mindset. I think he's going to be fine, but he's also pitched a lot this season, a lot. And you only have so many bullets for 162 games and whatever else you have in the playoffs. But I do feel pretty good about the back end of that bullpen, despite Josh Hader not being there. The Astros saying today it may be a little longer. Joe Espada saying that, according to reporters. I wasn't there today. I was there yesterday. But I'm okay with Brian Abreu in the short term. And if it's the long term too, meaning through October, I think Astros fans have to feel good that at least they've got that guy ready to go for the 9th inning.
Well, there's no question that you feel good about it. There's no question you feel
not just me. You're saying
just general. Yeah, okay. I mean, you feel good about Brian Abreu back there, and you feel good about the Astros pitching depth, provided it arrives. What you're seeing is, you mentioned Abreu's innings and Hader, obviously on the IL. What you're seeing is stress on the bullpen catching up now. Yep. You have a lot of starters that are just out, and so that puts more stress on the bullpen.
But that's not uncommon.
It's not uncommon. It's just a lot early. I mean, the Astros lost a lot of guys, and last year at this time, they thought they were going to get reinforcements that never showed up. This year, thankfully, they're showing up. Now, you've got Lance McCullers, who likely slides back into the bullpen as a piece, which somebody we know has been saying that forever, okay? But when you have that, and you have that guy coming out of Sugar Land, and he needs short bursts anyway, potentially he fills the gap. He can bridge to get to Abreu. The thing about the 9th inning is that once you get the 9th inning, you have a taste for it. Mm-hmm. And the lights go on, and the music plays, and
the stadium lights dim a little bit.
You just don't want to give it up. And so I don't know that that's something that they have to deal with right now. What I do know is it's a bullpen by committee, and the starters will dictate what happens, just like anything else. But now more than ever, they need bulk innings from their starting rotation. Right? Hunter Brown had a good start tonight. Javier was good last night. It wasn't great, or 2 nights ago. It wasn't great, but it was okay.
Good enough.
It was enough to come back, and you're thinking that what you're seeing out of the health finally may be able to contribute. So again, still a concern anytime you lose somebody like Josh Hader. Not as big a concern as you would think with the depth that Dana and company have amassed in their tenure so far.
Here's a quick score update. Baltimore is leading the Mariners 3-1 in the top of the 9th.
Yo.
So that would be a 1-game lead for the Astros, obviously. Some of the comments right now, Brienne says 100%. 100% Abreu can bridge the gap.
Yeah, you would think that that's what's going to happen. And again, it's about getting that taste of the 9th inning. He's not tested there. Doesn't mean he can't handle it, right? I mean, he's done it a little bit. He's done it in small doses. In small doses, not tested in a situation he's going to be thrust into if Josh Hader is out for an extended period of time. In the short term, sure. When you get into, if you think Josh Hader, though, and this is where your medical staff becomes really key, and I mean bigger than anything they've done so far or not done, is telling the truth on Josh Hader. You got to get that one right, because you have Ryan Presley still out there. You have some other free agent pieces that can come in and fill gaps. And McCullers coming, all the things we've talked about so far. But if Brian Abreu's your guy in the 9th inning, you got to get him in the 9th inning now. You got to get him used to that situation and get him rolling. You don't have time for Josh Hader to turn around and go, maybe, yeah, I'm not sure, need some more imaging, maybe a platelet infusion. You don't have any time for this stuff. You need to be able to say, the Josh Hader is out for sure, and Abreu's going to take the rock. And if that's going to happen, then you have a chance to get him ready to pitch in the postseason. Because this team, and I always hesitate saying this stuff because so much happens in baseball, and I'm not a fan because I spend too much time in it. Mm-hmm. But this team has a chance to win the World Series yet again. It just if they're the Astros, if the players show up and perform.
Yeah, and if all the pieces are there.
And so for me, I get excited about that because I know what it means to the city. I know what it means to the players in that clubhouse. I know what it means to the front office and the energy that picks up when teams are winning, especially one like here where the fans get really intimate with their players. They care about their players. They're not transactional here like they are some other places. So they become part of the community. It's a big deal.
Brian Abreu's first taste of the ninth inning with Josh Hader out. Pitched 1 inning, allowed 2 hits, struck out 2. I think he had 23 pitches, 16 for strikes. It wasn't 1, 2, 3 shut down the door, but it was enough. And right now, I think that's what these Astros are looking for, just enough to get through. Because Hunter Brown went 6 2/3, 6 hits, 1 run allowed. Spencer Arrighetti, command was an issue in his last start. Christian Javier, there's another guy that I think was better than what we had seen during some of his minor league rehab assignments. And I know it's apples to oranges, but I think right now you don't know what you're going to get from game to game with the guys coming back, whether it's Arrighetti, whether it's Javier, Luis Garcia when he comes back. And you are just hoping that those guys can go as long as they can, limit as much damage as they can to save the bullpen, knowing how important games down the stretch will be.
Well,
that's just my opinion.
I don't disagree, and with that, I'm going to go to the offense for a second. I'm going to transition that here. I see a game like tonight, and I was at the ballpark, and you've got Walker Buehler on the mound, who is he's really good.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. It's execution sometimes. He gets what we call mistake prone, but when he executes, he finishes, and he puts hitters away. It's a very tough at-bat for guys to have. With that in mind, to win a game like tonight is good. To win a game like tonight with 2 home runs taking you over the top just means that you miss a couple of mistakes that were thrown. Also positives, however, on the other side, this team has had a tendency in years past with many of the same components to disappear at times and have at-bats in situations where you need to string things together. And if we're truly going to look at this club as a postseason team, which they are, and a potential World Series winning team, which, again, they are, then you have to be able to string things together besides just Pena going deep and Diaz going deep. You have to be able to tie that in good at-bat upon good at-bat upon good at-bat, move the lineup and turn it over to get starters out of the game early and get into bullpens fast where guys are throwing one tempo and you're able to set your clock a little different to go after them. So if you're not able to do that, it becomes a tough go when guys get to the postseason. And these are designed to get you there, to get you prepared for there. So regular season to set your position and qualify, but then you have to use this time also to go perform. And that's concerning. When Alvarez comes back at times, we've seen he be the one that carries the club. Guys have just disappeared. And this is the club now with Altuve, Pena, Correa, Diaz, Alvarez when he's healthy, a Jake Myers that has played better than I ever thought, and give him credit for it, and Christian Walker, who's a dangerous hitter if nothing else, and you got Dubon and some other guys that are pesky that will always contribute in certain situations. Find the hole. You start looking at that, you start finding the hole. If you should not be winning and losing games by a run or two now, even if you're playing the Red Sox, who's a postseason team as well, or at least a potential one.
Jose is saying hi here on Facebook. Also, Ann wants to know, what's been the biggest surprise of the season? I know what my biggest surprise has been. What's your biggest surprise? Do you want me to just...
Yeah, you go first.
It's the injuries. I mean, who would have thought all of these guys would be on the shelf at one time or another or collectively, and you at one point were 7 games up in the American League West. Now, granted, this isn't the best division in baseball, but it is better. It has certainly improved in the last 14 days.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm laughing only because not only do I agree with you, but you know who should have known this? The medical staff. The medical staff of the Astros should have had a clue that something like this could happen and prepare against that, or give some accurate information or do some imaging, I don't know, something that would keep this from being extensive as it is. I'm sorry, is this a sensitive topic?
Well, no, it's just one of those situations where I think getting guys back seems to be more of an issue than diagnosis.
So the medical staff.
Well,
I mean, because it's either the medical staff on how they're diagnosing them, or it's the medical staff on how they're rehabbing them, or it's the medical staff and what they're telling us.
Listen, you're not the first person to say this, so this
Not
isn't
even close.
Yeah.
But we're August. Is this 14th?
13th
or August 13th, and the medical staff has less answers today than they did on April 1st. I mean, it's a big concern, and I'm joking about it because it's kind of a running joke. But
it is.
At the same time, you're trying to win a World Series here. Last year, the Astros gave away a season for me. This year, they have a better club. They have a better club. You can't do that again. It's in a weaker division, and frankly, the weaker American League as a whole. The Red Sox are a good club. The Yankees are, man, Yankees are flip a coin. The Rays are certainly done, and the Blue Jays have clicked it, and they're running forward as fast as they can. You got the Tigers who are destroying the Central, so it's really not that. It's a challenging division of the top 4 clubs, but it's a challenging league. But that's the World Series is right in front of you, and if they can't tell you the truth or get guys ready. What are we doing? That's your whole job. That's what you have one job, and that's to keep guys on the field and get them ready.
Well, this is an incredible segue to what I want to bring up.
Yep.
This entered the email today.
Okay, all right.
It was the Seattle Mariners are a new American League favorite from BetOnline AG. The Yankees were the initial favorites, followed by the Tigers, the Blue Jays, and now, as of today, the Mariners have 7-2 odds to win the American League pennant, followed by the Blue Jays at 15-4, Tigers at 4-1, Astros at 19-4, and then the Yankees at 6-1. So the people, the odds makers, they feel that the Mariners now are the team to beat.
Yeah, that's on the.
And I'm not surprised by that.
That's the medical staff's fault. Because if they told the truth and you had guys on the field,
Jeremy,
it's their
come
fault.
on.
The Astros are a better club than the Mariners. They're a better club.
Well, when they have everybody on the field.
And once again, why don't they have everybody on the field again?
Well, so you think
Anybody
that,
at home?
you think that Josh Hader woke up on Monday morning and said, I'm going to strain my shoulder today? Or
I think you do preventative measures as much as you can to get to that time. And I think the stress on the people that are not able to perform, or the stress on Josh Hader and company from the people that are not able to perform, has something to do with it. I'll say it again. If guys can't perform on the field, they can't play. They can't play. They can't help you win. Mm-hmm. They certainly can help you lose, though.
Yeah.
Okay. And so if we're in that spot, and that's what we keep coming back to, you go over the course of a season, people lose World Series and pennants and seasons as a whole for all kinds of reasons. You don't want the medical staff to be part of it, man. That's a problem, especially when you have this type of talent.
And now things are a little more interesting in the American League West because the lead is still a half game because the Seattle Mariners, playing the dumpster fire of the Baltimore Orioles, known as the Baltimore Orioles, have come back and tied the game in the bottom of the ninth. So this is the way it's going to be. It's going to be a lot of scoreboard watching, which is something that Astros fans really, I would say, for the past 6-7 years are not used to. Certainly in 2024, gosh, all the years kind of blend in together.
Well,
it must have been, last year. It was last year the American League West came down.
Yeah.
Astros and Rangers.
That's right.
And it was the last week of the season.
Yeah, I remember the last week of the season last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was in Arizona.
Yeah.
For that, right?
I think so. Yeah, you did go to Arizona.
Yeah.
I was in Texas.
Yeah. But it's one of these situations. Brand says medical staff are not doing their due diligence, period.
They have one job. Just one. It is to be medically correct and to have enough staff.
Well, let's give some updates. At least these are the updates that Joe Espada mentioned when I was there on Tuesday. That Yordan Alvarez will be, the plan is for him to hit against live pitching this weekend in West Palm Beach. Jake Myers, I think, is in the same boat. So, doesn't mean anything.
No, not one bit. I mean, it's like these are the plans. That's great.
That's true. Plans can change.
Tomorrow I'm planning to go to lunch somewhere. May or may not go, but it's a plan, right? And it doesn't mean that might be not well executed plan or well laid plan, but it doesn't matter if you don't get it done. And I say this again. At one point I was kind of like, because I've known Dana for so long, I was kind of a little frustrated with it. I And then I started thinking to myself, he's just saying what he's being told. Like, he's got to protect his club. They got to do what they got to do.
the same way?
Same thing. So it comes back to, let's just switch up the medical staff. What do we do right now? Let's just do it right now. Should we just go ahead and call somebody else and get him in there? Find out what's really going on with Alvarez's hand when he's taking at bats? You guys, remember this, okay? And this is a serious note. These guys are going to come back, Jake Myers and Yordan Alvarez and Luis Garcia and McCullers. They're going to show back up in Houston. Whether it's tomorrow or a week from now or 10 days from now, there's different timetables for everybody, but they're going to show up. When they do, the Astros are going to be scary if everybody's healthy.
It will also take some time for them to adjust.
And that's the biggest point of all right there, is everybody's going to have to get used to playing with the guys again, move what their roles are, different spots in the lineup. Yordan Alvarez is not going to come back in this lineup and hit eighth. It's not going to happen. He's going to move somebody at the top of the order, right? So if you've got a Correa, Altuve, Pena.
Yeah. So it's going to go Pena,
right.
Altuve,
right.
Yordan,
probably.
Correa.
Who was hitting fourth before Correa?
Well, a lot of it's been Christian Walker.
Okay, so that's my point. So somebody's got to move. Okay, so
that's
he moves
okay,
down.
But he's been moved up and down throughout the lineup due to how effective he's been certain stretches of the season.
No argument, but that's 5.
Okay.
Okay, who's after Walker?
Maybe Diaz or Sanchez?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if Sanchez is a power guy, but, he's been swinging the bat fairly well since he's been here.
Here's the best part about this. Whatever answer you give me right now, when you start...
It's not wrong?
It's not wrong. But they still got to figure out how to play that way.
Yeah.
Okay? And so when you have that, it becomes a chemistry time, it becomes a gel issue, and you don't necessarily have that time to have those growing pains and bumps in the road right now. You don't have 5 to 7 games.
It's not May, it's not June, it's not April.
And that's, again, where the medical staff comes into play. I know I'm harping on it, but I want everybody to understand it when they listen to this, how serious some of these misdiagnoses are. These plans that these guys got to have, they have to be able to execute and show up. Alvarez is going to need, just to gel with the rest of the club, 4 to 5 weeks. Maybe not for the bats. I mean, the guy falls out of bed and hits when he's healthy. But he's going to need some time.
What do you mean by gel with the club? I mean, he's going to hit where he's used to hitting.
Yeah, but the rest of the club has to move around him too, and it's not just him. You have Jake Myers, where do you hit him in the lineup now when he comes back?
I
believe he's gonna play.
Jake will probably be towards the bottom.
8?
7?
Okay, so we left off at Walker at 5, right?
I got to write these down now.
Okay.
We only have about 5 more minutes,
right.
so if you have any questions, let us know. So Pena's leading off.
Pena, Altuve.
Altuve batting second.
Alvarez.
Correa. But I also have to put the positions down here too. So I'm putting Yordan at DH, right? Because you don't want him running in or running back into a wall, running in, trying to make a diving catch. So Correa is your third baseman. He's batting fourth. I would go Walker.
Yep.
I think I'd hit Sanchez.
Okay. To break up the right-handed bats?
Yeah.
All right.
First base, I'll have Sanchez in right.
Yep.
I don't mind putting Diaz next.
Diaz is next as a catcher.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Myers. And then I'm going Urias at second base.
So where's Altuve play? Left field?
He's left field. So how's this for a lineup?
It's a very good lineup.
Pena, Altuve, Yordan, Carlos Correa, Christian Walker, Sanchez, Diaz, Myers, Urias. And you could obviously put Mauricio in there if you wanted to, but I think,
I'm in.
I think that's a pretty good lineup.
If they're ready to play, I'm on it. I mean, that's a good way to go. But that lineup still needs some time to play together, just to have some chemistry.
I asked Jesus Sanchez if he had a preference where he likes to hit. He predominantly batted second in the Marlins lineup. Joe hit him third one time in Boston, and maybe there's been more since then, but he and that was only, I think, the first or second time this season. Long story short, Jesus Sanchez don't care.
Yeah.
Said don't care.
In the lineup is where I want to hit.
Yeah.
And that's good. That's how you're supposed to play. However, there are still different roles and situations that change pitch to pitch with who's on the mound and who's around you. So they don't have 5 to 7 games to figure it out is my point. It'll be quick, but they still have to figure it out. And you're in a dogfight for the division lead right now, and you still want to keep that lead, keep everybody looking up at you instead of having that pressure of chasing somebody else.
And there is a lead now of one full game as the Orioles beat the Mariners 4-3, scoring 1 run in the 9th after the Mariners scored 2 in the 9th. So 4 runs, 9 hits, 0 errors for Baltimore, 3 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors for the Mariners, and now the American League West. It has the Astros on top by a game. That's going to do it for this live edition of Extra Bases with Bristol and Booth. For Jeremy Booth, I'm Jason Bristol. Thanks to all of you for hanging out with us tonight, and we'll see you next time.